Hello everyone, this is Terry Middleton, and today you're going to learn how to have your customers drop everything, listen, do what you ask immediately. Let me repeat that. In this free video today, you're going to learn how to have your customers drop everything, listen, and do what you ask. They're going to do it immediately. Let me tell you, I'm going to put a litmus test to this. This is how important it is. What I'm saying here, what you're going to learn, is that your target customer will stop what they're doing. They're going to stop immediately. They're going to give you their complete attention, and they're going to do exactly what you want them to do. It's really equivalent to you're standing on the street corner and somebody's running to a meeting that they're late for. They don't have time for anything else because they're late. They have a phone in their ear and they're talking to somebody. They don't have time for any disruptions. And what you're about to say to them is going to cause them to be okay with being late for a meeting, and they're going to want to hang up the phone call. So the litmus test again, and we're going to go over this a couple times because it's ultra important and it's very, very powerful. Your customer, your target customer, is going to stop what they're doing immediately, give you their complete attention, and do exactly what you want them to do. Now, first, I'm just going to set the ground rules because some people might be thinking this. You have to have a product or a service that you're promoting to a target customer that is going to benefit them. So if you don't have anything, then this video is not for you, but I'm just saying, I'm going to assume that you have a very valuable product or service that you're going to offer somebody, and that you have a customer in mind. Even if you don't have a list of target customers, but you know what they look like and who they are and what their makeup is, then that's fine. But I just wanted to put that on the table so I'm not wasting your time. Let me just tell you also what you're about to learn here is duplicatable. You're going to be able to do it again and again and again and over and over and over again. In fact, the more you do it, the more you're going to get better at it, and the faster the results are going to come. It's going to go across the board, whether you're creating an ad or a landing page. It's not going to matter what channel you use to communicate to your customer. It's going to be effective across all those channels. You're going to be able to verify it. I have a little tool that I'm going to share with you in a little bit that I can see things unfold as they happen. So if I do something, it's like boom, that customer just stopped dead in their tracks. It's like it worked. Boom, I'm right on spot. And I got to tell you, it's probably the most exciting, exhilarating thing I've ever seen. And so you're going to learn that here today. And it's universal. And what I mean by universal is that it really works across the board. It doesn't matter if you're using landing pages, emails, websites, phone calls, videos, ads, articles, social. I just sent a tweet to somebody, and I got somebody to literally stop in their tracks, immediately take an action, which in the tweet was a click to a startup that I'm starting up, and it's boom, I saw it, and it's a beautiful thing, right? And so it's very, very powerful what I'm about to teach you. So get excited. So let's, there's a lot of different ways we can slice this and do this, and I can show you this, but I'm going to pick the fastest one that gives us the fastest response. It's the cheapest by far because it doesn't cost a penny, and it's the easiest and it's the most flexible. Okay. Again, I'm going to go over the Siths Missed test because it's really, really important. You got to get this in your mind, because without this in your mind, you're going to go about it lackadaisical. Okay, so the key here is, and if you don't meet this litmus test, you got to go back to the drawing board and meet the litmus test. I'm telling you this is a litmus test, but you also need to grab hold of this and make this your litmus test. Okay, that your target customer will stop what they're doing immediately. And when I say immediately, I mean immediately. That means if they're on the phone with somebody, they're going to say, I have to go. If they have someone in their office, they're going to say, can I get back to you? It really is immediate. Okay, and they're going to give you their complete attention. All right, nothing else in this world matters. And then thirdly, they're going to do exactly what you want them to do. It's a beautiful thing, but I need you to take hold of that litmus test and own that litmus test. Anything short of it is second best. Okay, and right now what we're talking about is what I'm about to teach you is a very high level, and this litmus test is my litmus test, but it also needs to become yours. Because without this litmus test, then you're wasting your time. Okay, you're not going to learn what you need to learn. Okay, and so just wanted to push that through. Okay, so again, let's talk about how to get the fastest response, the cheapest, easiest, most flexible, we're going to use email. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick somebody from your email list from a target audience. You don't have to know them. You need to know their email address, their name, and their job title, or what segment of the market they're in. And pick somebody that your product or service solves a problem for, or offers a solution to them. Okay, so you just don't go about it willy-nilly. Go pick somebody from your list. I don't need 5 people. I need one. Just one person or one email address. Okay, you're not going to send it to me. This is going to be, you're going to write it down for later use. But we're going to do an exercise here that will be very important, and it's going to open your mind to them. So let's use email. Okay, so an email, it's broken down into 9 sections, right? We're only going to be dealing with 5, the most important ones: the subject line, the first sentence, second paragraph, last sentence, and your last word. Okay, okay, let's talk about the receiver for a second. Again, you got to pick somebody in your target market. Don't do random. Just pick somebody that that your product, they have an affinity to. You actually solve a problem in their world, or you offer a solution in their world. So just don't do random. Don't pick somebody that you don't know, that's not in your target market. And we're not going to be pinning the tail on the donkey. You're not going to have a blindfold on. You're going to know exactly what you're doing. You're going to know exactly what you're saying. You're going to know exactly who this person is and what their pain point is and what solution that you offer them. And it's a very powerful thing. Okay, so let's go on to this next one. This is where you're going to spend all your time, because the research that you're going to do to write your subject line is going to be the catalyst for everything you do in the rest of your email, or again, this is going to flow to other channels that you use, whether it's landing page or website. But the subject line allows you have to be concise, right? And so you can't have this long subject line. You have to, in fact, the shorter the better. But here's the key. You have to ask yourself about this person. I'm going to go slow so you can hear this. What is the most important reason they woke up today and went to work? Such that if they did not do their job, if they did do their job, they'd get a raise. And if not, they would get fired. Let me repeat that, because this, again, is the catalyst. I'm telling you, when you get this, you apply it to your litmus test and you get this, you'll be blown away on how fast people respond to you in your favor. So what is the most important reason they woke up today and went to work? Such that if they did their job, they'd get a raise, and if not, they'd get fired. Now, I ask this question a lot of times of people, and they say, well, they want to make money. Well, okay, that's great. Who doesn't, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I need real specifics. I need job specifics. I need, if you were somebody who worked at a company, and you might say, well, their job is to promote the company. Yeah, sorry, that's not going to cut it, because what you need to know is that specific person's job role and what they do, and the minutia of what they do, the nitty-gritty of what they do, so that if they did it, they get a raise. Their boss calls them in and says, you know what, you outperformed. And if they don't do it, they get a call and say you're fired. Okay? And so what is that? Now, what I like to do is say, think air, food, and water. This is the essentials that if everything, if you were a startup, let's say, and nothing else mattered except air, food, and water, right? Doesn't matter what you're wearing. Doesn't matter if, your customers think you're awesome. Well, that does matter. But what I'm saying is you have to think about air, food, and water when you're deciding who this person is, right? What's the most important reason they came to work? And this takes a while. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. This takes, I've spent hours and hours and hours on this sometimes with somebody that, I research them. And some of the ways I research them is I might go out to LinkedIn. What do they do? Right? Now, I don't get personal. I don't need to know, they live in this country or whatever, but I find out what their job description is. I look at some of the things that impact the company that they're working with. I might go out to their website and look at the news releases that says, here's what the company's doing, or this is what they're struggling with, or this is the successes that they have, or this is what their goals are. Anything that gives me a breadth of what the company as a whole, how they're moving, right? Because that person that you're going to send the email to, that you offer a solution to their world based on your product or service, to know that it's very, very powerful. I'm just going to tell you, when you communicate to somebody that you have a solution to something that they're working on, and you know that because you've researched them, you know what their industry is, you know the industry as a whole, You know what their company is doing as a whole. And when you come on board, I'm telling you, they stop. This is what causes them to stop in their tracks immediately. It, when you see this unfold and before your very eyes, all I can say is you're going to go, wow, 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 wow. But it takes some work. It takes some, you just can't send an email without knowing intimate details about your target audience and your sector, right? And so I'll take that person. So whoever you wrote down that you pulled out from your list, your target audience, write that person down and go do some research on them. Research their company. Find out anything. Go to Google and type in and look at news. Maybe there's some news on that company. If they work for a big corporation, certainly they're going to have news articles and so on. So, you might want to find out, are they up, are they down? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to grow? Are they having troubles? Is there a sector that they're operating in? Is it up or is it down? Where's the growth, right? Because ultimately we all go to work for one thing, to make sales. Now we all, we're not all of us are the ones who make the sale, but we all support that, right? Because without sales, guess what? No money flows and nobody gets paid and there is no business. And so you got to find out what that person does at work, and you got to identify it. It's the most important reason they woke up today and went to work. And it can't be generic, okay? You're going to have to work that and work that and work that. And once you get to it, you're going to write a subject line that addresses that, okay? And so your subject line, let's just go to the next page. Here's some ideas, right? Nancy, I found a way for you to add 16 new customers, okay? Well, guess what? Nancy is going to be ultimately very interested to know how she can add 16 new customers. Now, this would have meant, I've researched Nancy and I know what her most important role is in the company, and that's adding customers. And my product and service supports that. It gives her that solution. Bill, here's a way to increase your revenue by 15,000 per quarter. Now, this means that I've researched Bill, and I know that 15K per quarter is huge. I didn't embellish. I didn't overstate. I could have said $2 million, right? Knowing full well that if I was out of the ballpark, that would have told Bill that I didn't have a clue to his industry. I didn't have a clue to his job. I didn't have a clue to, what was possible and what he is trying to achieve. But 15K per quarter, that speaks directly to him, and that's in line with exactly what he's trying to accomplish. Because if he can add 15K per quarter, then guess what? Bill's getting a raise. And if he doesn't, guess what? Bill's getting fired. Grace, can I add 1,000 people to Frontier Airlines flights? Now these are real headlines, right? And so this one, very interesting, this one to Frontier Airlines, this kind of what got me started, right? There was a customer of mine who said, hey, I'm sending emails all out, nobody's even responding to me. Nobody will even say, no, I'm not interested. They're not even responding and saying, no, thank you, right? And I said, let me give it a try. So this was several years ago, and I discovered this. I wrote this person an email at Frontier Airlines. And I'm not going to lie, it took me a day to write the email, right? I researched this person. This was the person that was determined our future, right? They were going to say yes or no. And my job was to get them to say yes. But before I can get them to say yes, I had to stop them dead in their tracks. Because let me just tell you, Grace was crazy busy. I knew that. I knew who she was, not personally, of course, but I knew what her role in the company was. I knew exactly what was on her plate. And let me just tell you, she's just like everyone else. She gets bombarded by a bazillion emails, right? And her job is to put people in airline seats on Frontier Airlines. Now, she certainly is not the stewardess. She's not the pilot. She's not the salesperson. But her job directly affects. That's why she comes to work. That's why she got up, is to put people in airline seats for Frontier Airlines. And so I knew that. I knew the magnitude of what we could accomplish. And 1,000 was very conservative based on what the product that we were offering. So I wasn't embellishing. And this is another key thing. Do not ever, ever, ever fluff, lie. Don't overstate what you're saying here. In fact, be conservative, because people will spot that, right? Grace would have known if I would have said 300,000 people in Frontier Airlines, it would have been bogus, right? It's like a Nigerian scam letter, right? If I would have said 10, and then what am I wasting her time for, right? But I knew based on the product we were offering, 1,000 people was completely within the realm. And I also knew, interestingly enough, that 1,000 people moves her needle, right? And 1,000 people, if she can do what she does in her job, was, she tries to reach a mass of people, and 1,000 people, if she can reach that and achieve that, guess what? Grace is getting a raise. I knew that because I researched it, right? I read about the company. I read what they're trying to accomplish. I read, I looked at Grace's job function and knew what they were doing, and that's what took me a day to write it. But let me just tell you what happened. This is the result that happened. Phenomenal. I sent an email to Grace, and I was asking Grace to the opportunity to submit a proposal for them to sponsor my customer. And I sent the email, and this, I got to tell you, I believe it was either on a Thursday or Friday, late. This was several years ago. So it was not at the time that you're supposed to send an email. Let me just tell you that. Okay. It was off time. And I wish I could reply. I need to pull out that old email to find out exactly what time and date I did it. But here's the deal. This tool that I'm going to share with you in a little bit, it showed that Grace opened up my email. And I thought, oh wow, that's interesting. I got a response back within 7 minutes. Blew my mind. I'll be honest with you. What I first thought was, okay, guess what? She's on vacation, and I got the reply that says, hey, I'll be back next week or something like that, right? But sure enough, within 7 minutes, Grace replied to me, and she said, yes, I'm interested. Please send me a proposal. I'm like, whoa. I did a backflip. I called my customer, and he couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. So from that, I realized, wait a second, I'm onto something. So I did it again for that customer. I did it again and again, and I started doing it for other people, right? And the results are crazy. It's just, if you can imagine sending an email or doing an ad or writing a landing page such that your target audience stops what they're doing, they listen to you, and they do what you ask. It's I can't explain the excitement that you get, because now the needle moves for you. Let's just put it away, and guess what? You get a raise because you're selling more of whatever you're offering, right? But this is not a magic pill. This is not, nirvana or anything like that. There's work to be done, and you got to dive into your customer. And when you do that, it's a beautiful thing. So, okay, let's continue on. So, in the subject line, again, this is just goes without saying, you're going to personalize it. You can't just send it to an email address and hope that you're going to have results, because you gotta personalize it. It's just a fact. If somebody came up to you and they said, "Hey, you," what's the chances of you listening to them or holding any credence or giving them the time of day? But if somebody comes up to you and they said, "Hey, Bill," or Nancy, guess what? You're gonna stop and you're gonna listen. Yeah, I'm Nancy. Yeah, thanks for noticing, or thanks for calling me by my name instead of "Hey, you." It's disrespectful, right? Same thing with email. These are live people, as if you're talking to them in front of them, right? Okay, so, first line of the email. This is another critical thing. What you want to do is you're going to tell them about the biggest benefit they're going to receive, and you should explain precisely what they're going to get and why you're reaching out to them. This is very, very important. You're not going to waste their time, but you're going to get right to the point. I would like to talk to you about adding 14 high-value customers to your account that will result in revenue of $15K per quarter to you. I want to talk to you, so I've come right to the point, and he knows why I'm emailing him. There's no beating around the bush. There's no sugarcoating him. This is what I can do. 14 high-value customers that represent 15K. I want to talk. Boom, end of discussion. Now Bill can decide, yeah, I don't want to talk to him. Well, guess what? If Bill doesn't want to talk to me, then I found the wrong person. He's not in my target audience, right? Or Bill simply is not in business anymore, right? However, and again, this goes back to your research. If I would have said 14 high-value customers and 15K per quarter, and I was talking to somebody where those numbers were too low, meaning I might have been talking to Bill's boss, right? And he's expecting 300 high-value customers at $4.8 million per quarter, and I said 14 at 15,000 per quarter, then guess what? I'm talking to the wrong person. I didn't do my research. Okay, Nancy, you need more people visiting your stores, and I have a way to increase foot traffic by 10 new visitors a day. Can we talk? Again, I'm not saying 20 million. I'm not saying 50,000 people come into your store. I know her market. I know who Nancy is. I know what her situation is. I know Nancy's store. I know her business. And so I know it's possible. And I'm telling her right up front, can we talk? Question. And interestingly enough, that question elicits one of two things, yes or no. And if she says yes, guess what? She's stopped in her tracks, she's listening, and she's going to do exactly what I'm going to ask her to do. If the answer is no, I got the wrong target customer, right? My product is not in alignment with what Nancy is, a solution for Nancy. And so, very, very powerful. So again, that first sentence, come right out of the block, explain to them what you want and what the results that they're going to get. Don't beat around the bush. Second and third paragraph, this is very important. Also, sometimes you go into 3 paragraphs. If you can get it to 2, that's even better. But if you need to make it to 3, that's fine. I wouldn't go anything more than that. You don't want your paragraphs to be long and verbose. You need to let them read your section, your paragraph, in just a couple sentences. So you got to be concise. So this is why it takes you a while to write the first one. But once you do, it applies across the board, and you can use this anywhere, right? And I'll show you that later, how you can take what you learn here when it works and apply it to landing pages, websites, and emails and videos, right? So in your second and third paragraphs, you're going to provide enough information to allow someone to make a sound decision based on what you're offering, right? So what I said, 14 new customers and with 15,000 K in revenue for a quarter. Well, that's great and dandy, but they need to make a decision now. Am I BSing them? What is it? How am I going to accomplish that, right? And here's where you need to provide enough information. Again, no fluff. This is what we can do. This is how we do it. Here's the results that we've achieved. And it's all about results. What results are they going to get from you, period, end of discussion. And because ultimately you don't need to explain yourself in an email or an ad or a landing page. You need to explain themselves one-on-one in this case, right? Now, if it is a landing page, then you can send them over to the landing page and let them click. But this is just enough for them to make a sound decision. Do I want to waste my time? And frankly, I'm just going to tell you this. If they decide they're wasting their time, you didn't do enough research. And if you did do your research and you did do the good job here, then the waste of time doesn't even come into the picture. They can't wait to get to where they're going because you're solving the very reason they woke up today. You're making their life so much easier, and they're so thankful for it. It's like having Christmas any day of the week, right? Okay, so then the very last sentence that you're going to do is a concise, clear call to action. I want you to do X. This is where they're going to stop and do exactly what you want them to do. And you got to tell them, don't beat around the bush. Oh, if you have time, can we meet? No. Do you need more customers? Email me back. Period. And with a time that's good for you. Boom. That's it. Right. If you want what I have to offer, I have something that's going to make your life exceedingly better. If you want it, I'm not talking about being arrogant, but here's the results. Here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to, like me on Facebook. I don't want you to tweet me. Email me back, okay? Call me, or give me a time I can call you, right? That's probably more appropriate. Or if it is a click here, like for example, I'll just tell you, I did a tweet just before I started this video for another project I'm doing, and I was very specific. And guess what? Within less than a minute, the people clicked on that I was addressing, the people clicked on my link and they went to the page that I asked them to go to. And so pretty cool, right? So that was my first test in an email that I'm going to send out here and that I'm creating a campaign for because I'm going to use this across the board. And so, again, I'll just tell you this. With this scenario, with this kind of engagement with customers in the email, this is black tie ninja stuff, right? So I wouldn't waste my time or theirs on getting likes for your Facebook. I think it's a waste. Not suggesting getting likes on your Facebook is a waste, but I'm saying this method of taking somebody's time and taking the time that it took you to get this, you don't want to waste it on likes. You want a direct engagement, an action that results in something big for you, right? So, okay. Okay, let's talk about the last word, the PS. Now, this is really, really, really important. I can't stress this enough. Most people don't use it and do it, and I don't know why, But we know, marketers know that this is a very powerful thing to do in your emails. And you can also, again, do it everywhere else as well. I'll show you later. But the PS basically allows you to restate your benefit and reiterate what you're trying to say to kind of drive things home. And here's what we do know. The PS actually gets read either first and more than the email. And so not putting it in there just kind of you're leaving money on the table. I'm just going to say that. Putting a PS in there, people skim through the email and say PS, and it's like they read it and it's like, oh, okay, I'm reading what this email is about, right? And so here's where you're going to put, again, your powerful, what the customers are going to get, right? And so it's going to cause them to want to read your email, right? And so don't, every email I would suggest that you send out have a PS, okay? It's just a fact. It's just the market research suggests that people read their PSs before they read their entire emails. So very, very powerful to say that. So that's it. Hopefully this was valuable. Again, you have to take this litmus test. You have to, okay, let's just go over review and send. You're going to review it and send it. And don't rush into this, but just know that the longer you take up front, the less time on the back end. So let's say you have 1,000 people on your email list, right? And it's going to take you a day to write this, okay? Probably not a day, but the first one maybe a day. Now I can do it probably within an hour, right? Once if I'm honed down and dealing with a particular segment. So that day that you spend up front, imagine sending it to 1,000 people after you hone this and get that one person in that target segment to stop immediately, listen, and do what you ask. Then you roll it out to 1,000. Well, guess what? the results are, it's not even close. It's just phenomenal, the results. Versus not doing this exercise, right? Not going through the time to hone in and to know your customer, and then sending out 1,000 and not getting any results. So then you think it's the list, and then guess what? You get a phone call from your boss that says, "Hey, we don't have enough money to pay you anymore," right? So this is very powerful. So review and send, right? So we talked about verifiable. There's a product that I use. It's free. It's from the wonderful people at HubSpot. And I don't use it. I use it for this exercise alone. And so they have packages that you can buy, but this is free if you keep it under a certain threshold, right? And you can go to getsignals.com. Unbelievable. I can send an email and watch people open it. I can send an email and watch people forward it. I can send an email and watch them open it the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And it's like, this person opened my email up 5 times, and then they forwarded it, and they clicked on the link that I told them to click on or asked them to click on. It's really, really phenomenal. And so Get Signals is how I verify everything, right? Obviously, if your company doesn't allow you to add this to it's a browser deal, right? So if they don't allow you to add it to your browser, certainly within Outlook, you can ask when you send an email, ask for a open receipt, or if you're in a CRM, Salesforce or whatever, there's an option to allow you to for them to tell you if they opened it or not. You can see it right away when somebody opened it. It's very, very powerful, right? And so this is just a free option if you don't have one. I also use, obviously, Google Analytics, so I can see. That's how I knew a few minutes ago when I'm talking about the tweet. I tweeted it, and I went immediately to my analytics, and literally within minutes they had clicked on it. I saw the analytics, right? And I saw that they went to the page that I asked them to go to, right? And so pretty powerful, right? Because like I said, I addressed their needs. I figured out the reason they came to work, and it's pretty cool to do. I can do it over and over again. Again, this is universal. You can use it on landing pages, emails, phone calls. I started with emails because it's easy. I get quick results, and I hone in. So, the more time you spend up front researching your customer, the less time that you have to send. Ideally, you only want to send one email. Now, let's say you're a rookie and you don't get it down. You kind of shoot the gun too fast, and they don't respond, and something's up, and they don't open the email. That's okay. Go at them again and hone that down and hone that message down, right, until they do. And then, because once they do, then you can roll that out to the 5,000 or the 2,000 or the 500 that you have on your email list. But I use this in phone calls. I use this in ads and articles and videos. It's wonderful, wonderful. So again, if you're interested, I have an individual workshop that I'm going to make a special offer on. I teach you one-on-one, right? To learn, I'm going to teach you. You and I are going to work one-on-one. Learn how to have customers drop everything, listen, and do what you ask immediately. It's an individual workshop, and it's a special offer. And here's what I get, or what you get. I individually walk you through the process step by step. Okay, so you've learned this. I'm going to go deeper than what we learned on this video. Um, we're going to do a live one-on-one workshop to finalize before you send. Okay, and so you're going to go through step by step. It's going to be very powerful. And then we're going to do a live one-on-one workshop to finalize everything before you end. It's almost like getting somebody else's opinion, right? And then I'm going to show you the other ways to take what you learned in this email and apply it across the board in landing pages and in videos and in phone calls and in articles and obviously emails, right? And here's my guarantee. I'm going to give you the litmus test guarantee. If you want to sign up for my individual master workshop, I'm going to give you the litmus test guarantee that I will work with you until your customer stops what they're doing immediately, listens to you, and does exactly what you asked them to do. And I will give you 100% money back, no questions asked, if I can't perform that for you. And so I'll work with you until that happens. It might be immediate if you're a fast learner. If there's struggles and you can't put the time in, that's okay. I'll work with you until it does. If I don't deliver, then you can have your money back. So that's the guarantee. So there's no risk for you, and it's all on my shoulders to perform, right? And I love doing this. I wake up thinking about it. It's fun to do, and when it happens, I still, even though I've done it over and over and over again, I still get tickled about it because you break through. It's a breakthrough, is what it is, and every customer is a wonderful customer. So if you're interested in this, click the link below. The cost is only $97. Again, I give you the litmus test guarantee and 100% of your money back if I don't deliver. And I walk you through, everybody gets walked through the process step by step. I go deeper than what we even did on this video. I do a live one-on-one with you. We can do a Google Hangout where it's just me and you, and I'll share my screen. You can share your screen to finalize it before you send, and I also show you how you do it. So if you're interested, $97, click the link below, okay, and you'll get started right away. Look forward to it. Hope this video was very helpful. Please send me an email if you're interested, if you have questions. You can send me an email at terry@iproduceleads.com. Again, that's terry@iproduceleads.com. That's, again, terry@iproduceleads.com. Click on the link below. It's only $97. There's no risk on your part. If I don't deliver, then you get your money back. And I got to tell you, we'll have a lot of fun. The benefits are just huge. And so look forward to hearing from you. If, again, you have any questions, I'd be interested to hear your questions, and I'll respond as fast as I can back to you. So go ahead and send me an email. And hope this was helpful. Tell somebody about it if you would. Appreciate it, and have a great day. Talk to you soon.